we see digitization as a major instrument, an enabler for transformation. And why do I say so? We've inherited a system, and Ghana is not the only country. I think it's very consistent across the continent. We've inherited a system that doesn't seem to work for the ordinary person on the street. And so we thought that we needed to build a new system that works for the ordinary man, a system that addresses these very challenges that I've been talking about. Digitization is the best way to do that. And so you are looking at how do you solve the problems of people in the rural areas, for example, who cannot get access to medical supplies because of where they live. Or you are talking about people who are trying to interact with government to apply for a passport, to apply for a driver's license, to get a business certificate for opening a business, just the basic things that people have to deal with on a daily basis. You find that the system that we inherited worked more for the privileged, worked more for the elite. But if you can digitize many of these systems and put in the enablers to allow more of these systems to be built, then you remove the human interaction, and you don't need to know somebody who is a big person in an office to be able to apply for a passport or to be able to get a driver's license or get a scholarship and so on, or go to the port and you have to pay a bribe to do that. We needed to essentially remove a lot of the human interfaces so that we could deliver services to ordinary people devoid of corruption. And so you're trying to create more and more of an inclusive society. And this is what was the driving passion behind our government's setting up digitization as a major instrument for economic transformation. Digitalization is going to be very, very key in, helping us grow. People are selling on the internet, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. There's a lot of economic activity taking place there, and people are creating jobs. Young people who cannot actually afford to go and rent shops or build shops are able to do business over the internet. I mean, of course, Africa as a whole is seeing a boom in e-commerce, for example. Whether it's the transport business in Ghana, you're seeing digitalization play a role in people being able to eke out a living, notwithstanding the COVID-19 pandemic. But we are still in the process of trying to get back onto the growth trajectory, and other policies will complement the digitalization drive, industrialization, agriculture, and so on. Internet penetration stands about 50%. In 2017, we were at 27%. So we are making progress, and where we need to really emphasize and where government is placing efforts. Our President, Nana Akufo-Addo, is very passionate about building Ghana, for example, and a few other, many other African economies. Our land is not really playing the optimal role in the development process. So if you have issues to deal with title to land, transfer of land, and if an investor cannot come in and want to buy land and be able to be sure that this land is properly owned by such a person, then the development of a mortgage market is compromised, because the basics do not exist for any type of a mortgage market development. And if you don't have a mortgage markets are the markets that you can really get credit for many other enterprises. And so once that is out, it becomes a very difficult process. So we have put a lot of emphasis on digitizing the Lands Commission, and I think the process is ongoing. We expect to finish it once you have platforms, whether it's e-commerce and whatever, settlement becomes a bottleneck. And we have 42 different currencies in the continent. We have 4 different exchange rate regimes in the continent. And so if we don't have a good payment and settlement system, it's just difficult to get the trade going. So I'm very upbeat on the payment and settlement system that the African Exim Bank is working together with the central banks. And of course, this has high-level support amongst the authority of heads of state and government of the African Union to push this. And I think that will help. Of course, with travel, we've got to make travel much easier, especially air travel. And I'm always a passionate advocate of open skies in the continent. I still think that we've got a lot to do so that travel within the continent can be much easier. Within ECOWAS, for example, we have the ECOWAS card, where travel, for example, in Ghana, our national ID card has had to be consistent with the ECOWAS standard. So if you look at the Ghana national ID card, you'll see ECOWAS on it, which means that it is an e-passport that you can use to travel within ECOWAS, right? So that is there. For us, we are also activating our e-passport so that we can, it can be verified in different airports around the world, starting sometime next year. So, but within Africa, it would be very good for us to have ease of travel. ECOWAS is doing it. I know the East African community is also doing something similar, but we have to do something that is integrated so that the movement of people as well as goods can support the AFCFTA project. Let's build a new system based on the instrument of digitization and leave that as a legacy for the people. And this is why we are doing national ID cards, digital addresses, and all of that, because those are the things that we haven't done for a very long time. And we are now able to do it and use that to underpin our growth process.